So, in yesterday's session, we discussed about um, like how to inject a SQL connection in the program.cs, and we moved connection string to app settings, and then in the program.cs we access that connection string, and then we created a SQL connection and we injected it to service. Okay, so in .NET Core, yeah, we are using appsetting.json. But if you see, there is a file appsettings.development.json. So basically, you will update appsetting.json. The appsetting.json will have configuration parameters for your application. So this apps, you can have multiple appsetting.jsons. What does it mean? Appsetting.json will be only one, but you can have appsetting.development.json. You can have appsetting.qa.json, appsetting.uat.json, appsettings.production.json. So when you run your application, the app setting content plus any of the environment, suppose if you are deploying into development, app settings plus appsetting.development.json, both will be combined, and a configuration file will be created. If you are deploying into QA, appsetting.json plus appsetting.qa.json will be combined. It will create the configuration file. So you can add a new file here. App settings dot qa dot json. Did you see? When you create app settings dot something dot json, that will come and sit under your app setting dot json file. So then how to distinguish? So like the connection string for development will be different, the connection string for QA will be different, the connection string for UAT will be different. So we are not going to write this here in the app settings. So this connection strings, we are going to cut it from here, okay, and put under, we are in the development, right? Put under yeah, cut it from here and put under here, comma. So tomorrow in your QA, this will be something else. So it's a JSON file, okay? So this will be martt QA. So database can be different and other parameters can be different. So, okay, so how this is working? Let's see. Did you see? Right now, I kept under development, and I was able to access it from the development. So how does it know whether it should pick value from the development or QA or something else? So go to LAN setting.json. So this LAN setting.json will decide what kind of environment you are connecting. Okay, what kind of environment you are connecting. So did you see ASP.NET Core environment? So if you change it to QA, so now let's see where it is connecting and read the value. So if you read the value, what value it is showing? Okay, you need to change LAN settings dot, yeah, this one, the project one. So still it is picking from the, change all the development to QA. Yeah, the IIS Express is important. Did you see? So now the value is picking from QA environment. So your app setting.json, how this whole thing is working. So if you see app setting environment, so this is a environment variable, I'm setting it. So if you're working in Azure, and if you're deploying API into different applications, different servers like development, preview, production. So this variable you set and you will deploy into your app service plan. Though Azure is not relevant here, just I'm explaining. So here, when you are connecting from your local, you have to specify the ASP.NET Core environment. So here I specify UAT. So let's see what will happen. UAT. UAT. Do I have a app setting.json for UAT? No. And it's going to return still the QA. Why it is? Yeah, maybe if it doesn't find, it's going back to one level and it's finding it. Okay. So, but how to connect to a app setting.json when you're debugging it from local? So here, this environment variable, you have to change it. Okay. So even you can, I think, read environment variable here, builder dot configuration dot environment variable, add environment variable or configuration builder dot, yeah, environment dot environment name. So here also you can access it, string env. So let's see, here I defined environment variable as UAT. Okay, I'll define environment variable as a UAT. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so what is the value you are seeing? So whatever value I set it here, that's going to I'm setting it as a environment variables and ASP.NET environment, ASP.NET Core environment. Okay, so this environment variable, whatever I kept, I configure here that you are going to access here, or that's going to be accessible throughout your application. And this configuration, so the builder.configuration.get connection string. So what this will do, this will go to the environment variable. So how the app setting.json will be built, it's based on the environment variable. So app settings dot environment variable dot json, app setting dot development dot json, app setting dot qa dot json, app setting dot uat dot json. So it will go to the specific environment app settings file, and it will pull the data from the specific app setting. Okay, so development, put it back development, put it back development. So this is app setting. Okay, app setting development and app settings QA. Like that, you can have multiple environment based on the environment variable. You can have it. So now it's a development. You can see environment variable, and why it's coming null. Oh, still it's UAT. Might be it is getting from the cache. Okay, so when you done this, yeah, that's why earlier we got a wrong data. Just rebuild. The rebuild should, yeah, it's keeping it in the cache. So now it's development, and you can see the value. Okay, so earlier when we now it is pulling from the development. So earlier we uh, missed it. So just add UAT. So it should not pull any data because we don't have any UAT app setting.json. So rebuild it. It's keeping it in the cache. The environment variable, it's keeping it in the cache. So environment UAT. So it should not pull any data because we don't have any. So what it is trying to do, this builder.configuration, it's reading the environment variable. So after reading the environment variable, it's preparing the app settings file name. So it's preparing the app settings file name like, so it's preparing the app settings file name like this, app settings dot, what is the environment variable? It's UAT dot JSON. Then this builder.configuration get connection string is going to read this file and this particular key entry. And if it doesn't find any value, then it's not going to get the value. Okay, so just do F11. So this will have all the configuration parameters. Let's go back to development. And rebuild it. So this is important in ASP.NET Core. So earlier in .NET, we used to do things in a different way. So now it's reading all the environment variables. And if you see the configuration, You can open this, and there are 97 configuration like parameters you can say, or sections you can say, and our few are like default ones. So connection string somewhere you will see. Where is that connection? Yeah, connection strings. So under connection strings, you have the key and the value. So is it null? What environment we are right now? It's a development. Okay. So why it is giving empty? This is connection strings. Do we have anything else? This is logging section. Where is the, why this is giving empty? Provider path key. How did we define connection strings only? Then why it is not showing? But we are getting the value. Okay. So from where we are getting this value? Builder.configuration. This is application name, ASP.NET Core. Yeah, this one here. Connection strings test database. Yeah, so here the key is test full path under connections. Okay, so here in connection strings we don't have anything, right? So if you see the connection strings, under connection strings in test data we have tested database we have. So this is going to read the complete uh, app settings file based on the environment variable. Okay, so here you can define everything. So like whatever you want to define, you can define. Suppose connection strings and comma file paths. So it's a JSON. So just remember test file path equal to testing different sections of app settings. So let's see. Go to the builder.configuration. So connection strings, file paths. Can you see the file path? It's a key. Okay. And you can read the value. So how can you read the value directly? So this is get connection string, string file path equal to builder dot configuration. It's not a get connection strings. So there will be something get file provider add. So it should be get file provider get connection string get section get value. Just try get value string, and what is the file path? So what is that value? File paths uh, colon test file path. Let's see whether this works or not. The get connection strings are like connection string is a default or the predefined section. So that's why you're able to read it directly. So what is a file path? File path. Okay, so it's not getting the file path. So let's see whether this is able to read. So at runtime, you can see this. You can change it. It's null. Just type file path. No, it's not reading. Just read file path. No, it's not reading. So let's check some other. So builder dot. This is a key. So remove the file path. No, it's not reading. Get value. Directly get value. File path. Maybe we need to do like this. File path. No, it's not coming. Do we have any other so let's stop it. Get value. Let's check whether you have any other methods. ToString, set path, get provider, add environment variable. So these are the methods of the configuration. Okay, and bind. Okay, there is a get section you have. Let's do this. I'll show there is another best way to do this. Okay, comment out this. Put a breakpoint here. I want to so that appsetting.json it's converting into a dictionary. So let's see. Okay. So which one we want to read? This one, right? So configuration builder dot item extension manager debug view. It's a key and its value. So when I provide this key, it should return the value. So this is the full path and how we are going to retrieve it. So there might be some way to do this. Configuration dot. Do we have anything for find? So let's just do a simple Google. Read custom config value from app settings.json in .NET Core. So how to access? I'm trying to find a so my settings. So how he is going to configuration get section my settings. So get section dot value. Let's try this. So what is our get section? File paths and test file path. Test file path. Can you mute, Arjun? Get section. Oh, we are using, actually we are trying the wrong path. It's file paths dot dot again get section dot value. So let's see this. Yeah, that is the right one. So let's try this. This also should give the value. We used a wrong path. So string file path 1 equal to not get section. Let me connect. Okay, so get section, not a get section. There is another get get value of type string. So here file paths dot test file path. So let's try this. Earlier I tried this, but I used file path instead of file paths. Yeah, this is also working. Yeah, so directly either you can read a get section. So why? Because this is entire section, okay, and under that you are reading this one. So if you have multiple things, then reading this will be difficult. So here it's going one level and second level. So this one directly you are giving the path, the value. So let's see how this will work. So file paths, under file paths, suppose we have like this, test file path test 1. This is test 1 path, comma, test 2. This is test 2 path. Okay, so I want to read test 1 and test 2. So here if you give test 1, so this will read the value for test 1. Yeah, this is the best way. You can get the value and convert that value into string, whether it is a string, int, or any other data type. And this is the complete path: file paths, test file path, and test 1. Okay, so like this we are going to do. the app setting.json you are going to use. So in a short, you can have multiple app setting files in your project. Those multiple app setting data JSONs will represent multiple environment, dev environment, QA environment, UAT environment, and production environment. And you can have your custom, this connection string is a predefined one. So that's why there is a method get connection string directly. It will go to this path connection strings and it will fetch the value based on the key. But if you define your custom, your own section and your own configuration file values, then you can use this builder.configuration.get value of specific type you can convert, and this is the complete path. And you're going to read the environment variable like this, and in lan settings.json you're going to set up your environment. By default it will be development, so here you can change it to UAT, QA, or whatever environment variable you're going to do that. Okay, so yeah, any questions?